We got that really interesting source from you about Dr. Reena Malik, the urologist.
Oh, yeah, the pelvic surgeon.
Yeah,
She has some fascinating insights.
totally. And it felt like, well, perfect stuff for one of our deep dives.
Mm-hmm.
So what we kind of want to explore today, based on what Dr. Malik's saying, is some of those masturbation habits that people might have.
Right.
The ones that could, maybe without them realizing it, be causing problems, in their sex life.
Yeah, and it's really crucial to start right where she does. This isn't about judging masturbation or saying it's bad. Not at all.
No, definitely not.
She really stresses it's healthy, it's normal.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually a great way to, feel pleasure and learn about your own body.
Exactly. So zero judgment. We're just looking at these, nuances she's picked up from her practice.
Things she's seen firsthand.
Yeah, almost like insider tips, really, for maybe a more fulfilling sex life overall. She's clear that, she's evidence-based generally.
Right.
Some of these specific points, they're more anecdotal from her patients.
Which makes them pretty valuable, I think. Real-world stuff.
Definitely. Okay, so let's get right into it. The first one, she calls it the death grip.
The death grip, yeah. It's quite a name, isn't it?
It paints a picture.
It does. So Dr. Malik explains it as basically gripping the penis really hard, significant force.
And fast movement, too.
Often, yeah. Often combined with like rapid or faster and faster movement. And the interesting thing is how your body can just adapt, get used to that.
Habituated.
Exactly. Habituated to that intense feeling. And the key insight really is that what feels amazing alone might actually make things less satisfying with a partner.
Right. And she mentioned other things, too, didn't she? Like other intense habits.
Yeah, like always pressing against a mattress or something hard.
Yeah.
That pressure. Or relying on like super strong vibrations all the time.
Okay, so it's that pattern of needing a really high level of sensation.
Precisely. And she sort of lays out this cycle. At first it feels great, really pleasurable.
Makes sense.
But over time, that constant like high intensity input, it can actually lead to decreased sensitivity.
Oh, interesting. So less feeling.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
And then what do? The natural response might be to, well, go even harder, grip tighter, use a stronger setting.
Okay, I see where this is going.
Right. And that's where the potential issue with partnered sex comes in.
Because the partner might not provide that exact same super intense feeling.
Exactly. Dr. Malik suggests if your body's only used to that one specific high-level stimulus, you might struggle, to climax with a partner or with different kinds of touch that aren't quite so forceful.
That really highlights the need for variety, doesn't it?
Totally. And her advice is so practical. Just mix it up.
Like how?
Well, maybe loosen the grip a bit. Try using lube.
Yeah.
We'll get more into that later. Slow things down.
Go down. Okay.
Yeah, explore different sensations. She even gives the example, which is kind of surprising, of using something really gentle, like a feather.
A feather. Wow. Okay, definitely mixing it up.
It really makes you think, about assumptions.
It does. Okay, so moving on. Her next point is related but different. It's about doing it the same way every time.
Yeah, this shifts a bit from just the physical intensity to the mental triggers, sort of, the arousal cues.
Okay.
So Dr. Malik's talking about when someone always relies on, say, one particular fantasy or the same type of erotic film or even a specific novel, every single time.
To get aroused from masturbation.
Exactly. And the insight here is that being too reliant on those specific, maybe very intense fantasy triggers can sometimes make it harder to get aroused with a real person in a real situation.
Right. Because the partner or the situation, it might not be as, extreme or specific as the usual fantasy.
Precisely. She mentions, for example, getting really used to maybe more aggressive or intense types of pornography.
And that creates a gap.
It can create a gap. It's interesting. She's not saying porn is bad, not at all.
No, she's nuanced about it.
Very. But she's pointing out that if you get really habituated to one specific type, it can sometimes make arousal with an actual partner, well, more challenging.
And you can see why people fall into routines, right? They work, they're efficient.
Absolutely. It's easy, it's predictable, it gets you there quickly.
But the downside is that lack of flexibility.
Exactly. And she offers some great ideas for bringing in variety here, too.
Right.
Trying different fantasies, maybe talking or texting dirty with your partner, reading different kinds of erotic stories, maybe even watching porn together.
Oh, interesting. Broadening the scope.
Yeah, expanding the range of what actually turns you on.
And what happens if you don't? What are the downstream effects?
Well, Dr. Malik points out that if you consistently find it hard to get aroused with a partner because things aren't matching your usual, maybe very specific or intense stimulus,
Yeah.
it can lead to anxiety,
Hmm.
frustration. You start worrying about it.
Performance anxiety. Yeah.
That's the term, yeah. Or just general stress around sex. And that creates this negative cycle, you know?
Yeah.
Worrying makes it harder, which makes you worry more.
Ugh. Yeah. That makes total sense. Okay, let's switch gears slightly. Something more practical, perhaps. Lubricant. Dr. Malik seems like a big fan.
Oh, absolutely. Very enthusiastic about lube.
Why was that?
Well, she lists a bunch of reasons. Reduces friction, obviously. Makes things slipperier, more fun.
It makes natural lubrication.
Exactly. Mimics wet body parts. And, it's usually pretty cheap. Lasts a while.
Good points. She even has a whole separate video just on lube, right?
Yes.
Ugh.
Which kind of tells you how important she thinks it is. But yeah, for here, she just summarizes the main types.
Okay.
So you've got your water-based lubes. They're common, but they can evaporate, might need to reapply.
Right.
Then there's silicone-based. That lasts longer. You generally need less.
Okay.
And oil-based, also longer lasting, need less. She basically says, it's personal preference. Find what feels good for you.
Makes sense. And what if you don't have actual lube around? Any safe alternatives?
Yeah, she does offer a couple of reasonable options if you're in a pinch. Olive oil or coconut oil.
Okay. Useful to know.
But she specifically warns against using Vaseline or like regular hand or body lotion.
Why not?
Potential for irritation. That skin is sensitive down there. So, yeah, stick to oils if you have to improvise, not lotions or petroleum jelly. That's a really practical tip.
Definitely. Good to know. All right, next one. Making it a quickie every time. I feel like this might resonate with some people.
I think so, too. And Dr. Malik has this really interesting idea about where that might come from.
Oh, yeah.
She suggests it could go back to, like, childhood or teenage years.
Yeah.
The fear of getting caught.
Ah, right. Doing it fast and secretively.
Exactly. And that ingrained need for speed, that habit, can just kind of carry over into adult life.
Even when there's no risk of being caught.
Right. And she's clear, like an occasional quick session, totally fine, normal. The issue is when it's the only way.
Always rushing.
Always rushing. Because, again, think about partnered sex. If your only solo experience is super quick,
It could lead to premature ejaculation, finishing faster than you want to.
that's exactly the potential link she draws. Or just, orgasming way before you or your partner might like. And she makes this really important distinction. It can be quite difficult to, unlearn quick ejaculation when you're with a partner. There's pressure, maybe anxiety.
Yeah.
But when you're masturbating, that's your time. It's a safe space, to actually take your time, explore, slow down, learn different rhythms without any pressure.
That links back to what you said earlier, self-love, exploring without guilt.
Perfectly. Which actually brings us right to her final point, guilt. The impact of guilt itself,
Oh, yes.
which Dr. Malik says is such a powerful negative force. It can really mess with how you see yourself as a sexual person.
How so?
Well, what's really interesting is she explains that those feelings of guilt, maybe specifically about masturbation, they might not stay contained.
It can spill over.
Yeah, they can sort of seep into other parts of your life, affect your self-worth, your confidence, maybe even subconsciously.
Wow. So even if you think you're okay with sex generally, that underlying guilt could still be humming in the background.
That's the idea. And so she really comes back hard on her main message. Masturbation is normal. It's healthy. It is nothing to be ashamed of.
Period.
Period. And she encourages people to actively work on accepting it, accepting themselves as sexual beings fully.
It feels like it connects to that basic idea she mentioned, that pleasure is okay, it's allowed.
Exactly. That everyone deserves to feel good, to have pleasure, to have orgasms. It doesn't matter what your job is or how much money you make or your relationship status.
It's not something you have to earn.
Not at all. It's inherent. It's a healthy part of just being human. It's a really powerful message, I think.
It really is. Okay, so just to kind of wrap up the main takeaways from Dr. Malik, we're talking variety and stimulation.
Yep, pick it up.
Being mindful during solo time, not just rushing.
Exploring. Yep.
Using lube, definitely use lube.
Big thumbs up for lube.
Taking your time, allowing yourself that space.
Crucial.
And maybe the biggest one, letting go of that guilt.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Working on releasing the shame.
Yeah.
Those are really the core nuggets from her advice.
So for everyone listening, what hit home? Did any of that make you think differently about your own habits or experiences?
That's the key question, isn't it?
It is. And maybe one final thought to chew on, building on what Dr. Malik said about that mind-body connection. how might consciously changing your approach to solo pleasure, keeping her ideas in mind, how might that not just boost your own sexual well-being and your connection with yourself,
Yeah.
but also maybe enrich things down the line, like your intimacy and connection with a partner?
That's a great question. How does solo exploration feed into partnered connection?
Exactly. Definitely something to think about. Feels like we're just scratching the surface here, really.
There's always more to learn about our sexual health, for sure.